Hello, Gemini, Sun, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So, Gemini, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. We're going to see how the both of you are currently viewing this relationship and how you guys feel about it, and what actions you guys plan on taking each other's direction and are moving forward. So, with all that being said, Gemini, let's get started. Let's see overall energy for this connection. All right, so we do have separation. Time apart from your partners on the horizon. Interesting. And then we also have healing family issues. You know, it's interesting because I tend to look at healing family issues as like the Four of Swords and Tarot, but I also look at separation as the Four of Swords and Tarot. Okay. You know, I'm getting a lot of distance here between you and this person. Not entirely sure why there's so much distance here between you and this person. You could very well be keeping your distance from this person. This person could very well be keeping their distance, you know, from you. You know, this could definitely represent like an energy of somebody reciprocating that same old energy that they're basically getting, you know, from someone in return. So we'll see ultimately why you're getting these two cards and how it resonates with your reading, you know, for today. But we are going to focus on you first, Gemini, and then we'll jump over to your person, their energy. Just keep in mind, though, that the roles can be reversed. But before we get into some tarot, let me put my phone on the charger so it doesn't die on me. 1 second. Okay, we're back. All right, so let's focus on you first, and we'll jump over to your human's energy. How does Gemini currently view this relationship? All right, Gemini. So we do have the Queen of Cups, we have the Ace of Swords, and then we also have the 10 of Swords. Okay. All right. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the 9 of Swords to the 7 of Swords. Okay, so this to me feels like an energy of you being brutally honest with yourself as well as your current situation. You've been reflecting a lot recently. Yeah, you've been doing a whole lot of reflecting as of recently. You've been reflecting a lot on something that hasn't really been making you happy, or bringing any sort of like, joy, I would say, into your life. And I do feel like this does revolve around a relationship that you have with someone. Like I said, this feels like an energy of, yes, you're reflecting, but you also being brutally honest with yourself. So let's get into it. You're connecting with somebody that you have a lot of love for, that you care for deeply. Okay, your emotions for this one over here runs very, very deep. The reality of the situation is that you feel like you can't trust this person. And because you feel like you can't trust this person, it's like you constantly find yourself thinking, you know, what if they're doing this? What if they're doing that? They're probably doing this right now. They're probably doing that right now. And that has been taking a massive toll on your mental health, and you know it. And I feel like despite the fact that this relationship has been taking a massive toll on your mental health because you feel like you can't trust this person that you're dealing with, you know, your heart is what has essentially kept you, you know, with this person, and, you know, still trying, you know, your heart is to make the relationship work. But it's kind of reaching that point where you're starting to realize, okay, this relationship is really taking a massive toll on my mental health. You know, I'm, you know, trying to build here with this person that I clearly don't trust. And I feel like you've been doing this for a little while now, and it's just kind of getting to that point for you where it's starting to become extremely unbearable. Okay. At the end of the day, you desire to be with someone that you feel like you could trust. At the end of the day, you desire to be with somebody that you feel like you don't necessarily have anything to worry about. The problem is that you're dealing with somebody that you feel like you have everything to worry about. Now, of course, some of you might have your reasons as to why you don't trust this individual. Others of you might, not trust this individual due to like past traumas and experiences that you've basically, you know, experienced with other people. Either which way, regardless if this has everything to do with your past and very little to do with this person, or everything to do with this person and very little to do with, you know, your past, you're realizing at this point within your relationship with this person that you feel like you're never going to essentially trust this person. You're also realizing how unhealthy this relationship is for you, mentally speaking. So with all that being said, as you're coming to terms with all of this and you're realizing all of this, you know that a choice has to essentially be made. Okay. Now, I don't see you making any sort of impulsive, you know, decisions, you know, when it comes down to this person, but at the end of the day, deep down inside, you know that a choice needs to essentially be made here. You're either going to learn to trust this person or you're not. But the choice is entirely up to you. How does this person currently view this relationship? All right, we have the 5 of Wands, we got the 3 of Wands, and then we also have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. You know, in regards to how they're currently viewing you in their relationship with you, this person feels like all you really do is push them away time and time again. which causes them to question how serious you actually are about them and this dynamic that the two of you share with one another. Okay, fair enough. Let's keep going. How does this person currently feel? Okay. We have the Hierophant to the Seven of Pentacles to the, okay, because I'm getting two different storylines here. For those of you where this does have everything to do with your past, and you know that it does, okay, if you fall into that category. Yeah, this person does feel like you tend to push them away time and time again, which causes them to question how serious you actually are about them in this dynamic that the two of you share with one another. This person does come off to me as somebody who is all in when it comes down to you. They truly are, you know, invested in you and what they essentially share with you. And they also come off to me as somebody who only wants you and only you. The problem is that, you know, they're constantly being faced with this energy of you not necessarily believing them or trusting that they essentially mean well, which has created a lot of tension and conflict between the two of you because of it. Okay. Now, for those of you who are dealing with somebody who has betrayed your trust in the past, again, same message applies. It's as if this person feels like you constantly push them away time and time again. And I do feel like when you do push this person away, it really does upset them as well as frustrate them, because this person is, you know, sitting in the energy of, you know, I'm all for you and only you, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this relationship work. The problem is that you know, this person basically feels like you're holding something, you know, over their head that they cannot travel back into time and undo. And that's their biggest frustration when it comes down to you and this dynamic that they find themselves in with you, because as much as they're all in when it comes down to you and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make this relationship work, if you're going to continue to hold on to whatever it is that this person put you through in the past and continue to hold it over their head time and time again, they're going to naturally feel like they cannot redeem themselves in this entire situation with you. And they're going to start to naturally feel like it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what I do, Gemini is just never going to trust me, and they're just never going to forgive me. So that's kind of like the, I guess the position they find themselves in now, with you, which it is very, very frustrating for them. Because as much as they want, you know, the two of you to be good and move past, you know, whatever the heck happened here between the two of you in the past, they feel like it's kind of hard, you know, for this person to get this relationship back to a good place between the two of you all over again when you're still kind of holding on to whatever it is that they put you through in the past. How does Gemini feel? All right, so we do have the... okay, we do have the King of Cups, we do have the Page of Pentacles, and then we also have the Moon out here, where this has everything to do, if this has everything to do with your past and very little to do with this person, I feel like to a degree, you know, you feel like you can trust them. I feel like to a degree, you know, you feel like this person really does love you and is loyal to you and what they share with you. But with the Moon coming out here, you still tend to wonder, you know, but what if they're doing this? And what if they're doing that? Or what if I'm wrong about them? Now, if this has everything to do with something that this person has essentially put you through, I am definitely getting that this person has essentially shown you through their, you know, actions, you know, that they're willing to do whatever it takes to make this relationship work. The problem is that you're still wondering, well, what if this person does this to me again? What if this person does that to me again? You know, what if they haven't really changed, even though they're showing me that they have changed? You know, what if they really haven't? What if they're just putting on a show? What if this? What if that? Okay. What actions? Okay. Yeah, if this has everything to do with your past, dude, and you know that it does, for those of you who fall into that category, I think it is safe to say that you do have a, you know, a person by your side that's very committed and devoted to you and is willing to do whatever it takes to make this relationship work. In other words, you got a good man, you got a good woman. I just kind of feel like it's going to take some time before you accept that, because I do see you eventually accepting that. Now, if this person did something to betray your trust in the past, and you tried your hardest to essentially move past it because you love them and you want to be with them and you want to make this relationship work, I feel like what makes it so challenging and difficult for you has a lot to do with the whole, but what if they do it to me again? What if they put me through this again? What if they put me through that again? I don't want to go through that again. And that's what makes it very, very hard, you know, for you on this journey that you currently share, you know, with this person. But here's the thing. I think that over time, once this person starts really proving to you, that you can trust them, that they are trustworthy, that you don't have anything to worry about, and that they're not going to put you through this again, and that they're not going to put you through that again, I do see you eventually reaching this point of feeling safe and secure with this person, all over again. But I'm going to be very honest with you. It's going to take a whole lot of time before it gets to that point. It's going to take a whole lot of time, but eventually you'll get there is basically what I'm saying. You kind of have to give yourself some, grace too. That's another thing too, Gemini. It's like, I just kind of feel like you just want to hurry up and trust them all over again. And just hurry up and trust them if this has anything to do with your past. And the fact that it's taking a lot longer than you were hoping that it essentially would, it frustrates you and it causes you to feel like, oh my God, like I'm never going to stop experiencing these intrusive thoughts. I'm never going to stop thinking this. I'm never going to stop thinking that. I don't want to keep going through this. I don't want to keep going through that. I think that you have to give yourself some, grace, to be completely honest. Because if you are somebody who has been betrayed and deceived in the past, it is natural for, you to find it extremely difficult and challenging to trust another person again. So you kind of have to give yourself some grace, dude, and, remind yourself, you know what, like I've been through some stuff in my life, you know what I mean? So it's okay, that I'm having trust issues right now. It's okay that I'm afraid. It's okay that I'm going through this. It's okay that I'm going through that. Like this too shall pass, because it will. Now, if this has everything to do with something that this person in particular has put you through in the past that you're having a difficult time, moving past and or getting over, it's again, that rushing energy that I keep feeling from you. It's like, you just want to hurry up and stop thinking about it and hurry up and get over it. At the end of the day, what this person put you through, it truly did hurt you and left you extremely disappointed as well as devastated. It broke your trust. And yes, you love them, and yes, you want to continue to remain with them, but it's still going to take some time before you fully get over what this person put you through. And you have to kind of give yourself some grace, but also accept that and understand that what they did to you, it really did hurt you to your core. And it's going to take some time, before you move past it and heal from it. But here's one thing that I will say, Gemini, is this. You have to also accept the fact that this person cannot travel back into time and undo what they did. They cannot. The only thing that this person can do is make better, decisions, and do whatever they can right now to improve things between the two of you and fix things between the two of you and make things better between the two of you. But it kind of looks like what you're doing. Yeah, it kind of looks like what you're doing, Gemini, is, spending time thinking about what they did and what they said and how it hurt you and how it affected you. And it's like you're reliving that moment all over again. And it does get you worked up, and it does cause you to fall into this, energy of, why am I with this person? And why did I give them another chance? And that might even stir a big fight/argument. And that just goes to show you're not fully over it. And this person has to be extremely understanding that you're not fully over it. You didn't ask for this person to disappoint you. You didn't ask for this person to let you down. They let you down. They disappointed you. And this person needs to accept the fact that, yeah, there might be times where you find yourself reliving the moment all over again, to the point where you bring it up to their attention. And if it leads to an argument, then it does. But it shouldn't honestly lead to an argument, because this person needs to understand that they put you through what they put you through and affected you the way that it affected you. If they really do want this relationship between the two of you to work, instead of them getting angry and frustrated with you because you're still bringing up the past, they need to be a little bit more compassionate and patient, understanding, with you, because them getting frustrated with you instantly because you're bringing up the past all over and you're bringing up what they did all over again, that's not going to help you or this relationship. And they need to be extremely understanding, when it comes down to that. Okay. But they cannot, they can't travel back into time and undo what they did. You know what I mean? They just can't, there's no doubt in my mind that you'll eventually forgive this person. Again, I just think that it's going to take some time. You know what I mean? It's going to take some time, but they need to, I just feel like this person, that's my thing with this person that I personally don't like, because I feel like when you find yourself reliving that moment all over again and then you bring it to their attention, it's like they instantly fall into this energy of like, oh my God, here we go again. Here goes Gemini bringing up the past all over again. I don't think that that's fair for you to have to receive a response like that from the very person that caused you to feel this way to begin with, because it's not like you asked for all of this. Like, that's the only thing that I really don't like. I mean, I like the fact that this person's really trying to make it work. I like that. That's great. But I don't like the fact that you're being met with this energy, because it's not fair. That's like you doing something to betray this person's trust and then bringing it bringing it up to your attention that, they're not fully over it. They're still thinking about it. They're still dwelling on it. And you instantly snap on them like, oh my God, dude, like, are you seriously like still hung up on it? Like, get over it. Like, they wouldn't like it. They would not like it. They would not like it. Okay. Now, in regards to how this person plans on moving forward, I think this person just wants you to see that they're trying. They're trying to make this right. They're trying to make this work. And that message applies for those of you where this has everything to do with your past and very little to do with this person, as well as those of you where this has everything to do with them and very little to do with your past. They just want you to see that they're really trying here. You know what I mean? To make this relationship work, to keep this relationship between the two of you intact and afloat. And it's just extremely frustrating because you do make this person feel like you're holding whatever it is that they put you through over their head, or you're holding what said person from your past put you through over their head, as if they're going to turn around and do the exact same thing to you. Okay. I think that this person needs to be a little bit more understanding when it comes on to you and what you're going through. But to be honest, Gemini, and this is just me being your BFF here, I think that you also need to be a little understanding when it comes down to them. At the end of the day, they did what they did, and they're doing everything in their power to try to make it right. You know what I mean? They truly are. So when you bring up, oh, well, you put me through this and you put me through that, it causes this person to feel, Gemini, like everything that they're doing right now to gain your trust and make things better, they're doing it. They feel like it makes them feel like they're doing all this for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it makes them feel. And over time, it looks like this person starts to get really frustrated with you because, man, like, here they are trying, and here you are just making them feel like everything that they are doing to like gain your trust all over again, it's just not working. It's just not working. It's just not working because you're still bringing it up. You're still bringing it up. Like, so it's one of those things where you kind of have to try your hardest to see things from their perspective, and they're going to have to try to see things from your perspective in order for the two of you to fully understand one another. Because this person doesn't understand you and where you're coming from, and you don't understand them and where they're coming from, because you're too caught up in, but they put me through this and they put me through that, or I'm afraid they're going to do this, I'm afraid they're going to do that. And this is why you are the way that you are in this relationship. But the same applies for them too, Gemini. It's like, yeah, they did what they did, and they've been trying to fix that and correct that, improve things here between the two of you ever since. But the fact that they're constantly, feeling like, everything that they are doing to gain your trust all over again, it's just not working. It's just not working. It's just not working. Like, over time, this person's going to start to feel discouraged. Over time, this person's going to start to feel extremely, angry, and upset, because as much as they want things to improve between the two of you, you're constantly saying things or doing things that make them feel like, yo, I'm doing all this for nothing. You know what I mean? And they don't want to feel that way. They don't want to feel like they're doing all of this for nothing. They want to feel like the changes that they're essentially making is improving and bettering the marriage that you guys share with one another, or the relationship that you guys share with one another. So when you bring up the past and you throw it in their face, well, you put me through this, you put me through that, it makes them feel like, damn, like, I'm sitting here doing all this for what exactly? Like, why am I doing this? Because, they know why they're doing this, right? Which is to improve things between the two of you. But when you make this person feel like everything that they're doing is just not good enough, like, they're going to instantly find themselves feeling like, man, like, I'm doing all this for nothing. Not saying that you've ever told this person that everything that they're doing to gain your trust is just not good enough. When you bring up the past, that's what essentially causes them to feel like, man, I'm doing all this for nothing. Not saying that you don't appreciate everything that they're doing to gain your trust, or regain your trust, however it resonates, because we did get two different storylines. When you do this to them, when you bring up the past and you say, oh, well, you put me through this, it makes them feel like, yo, I'm doing this for nothing. Not that you don't value or appreciate everything that they've done thus far to gain your trust. You're still hung up on it. Why? And that's why you still bring it up, in fights and arguments that have nothing to do with what happened in the past. Now, if this has everything to do with somebody who betrayed you or deceived you in the past, and you're constantly making them feel like they're going to turn around and do you just like this ex of yours did you, yeah, that's kind of frustrating, you know what I mean, for them, because here they are trying to show you that they love you, that they care about you, that they're committed to you, that they're devoted to you, but they're constantly having to pay for what the other man put you through, or the other woman put you through. And that's kind of frustrating, you know what I mean? Like, over time, that's going to get very, very frustrating. So I get where they're coming from, and I understand where you're coming from. I just want you guys to understand one another. You see what I mean? And see where this person's coming from, vice versa. Because I feel like if you were able to see things from their perspective, you would understand, okay, like this is why they feel the way that they feel. Okay, I got it. You know, but if they were to see things from your perspective, they will understand, like, okay, I understand why Gemini is like this. I understand why they keep bringing it up. I understand why they're afraid I'm going to do this to them and I'm going to do that to them. I understand. Because once you're able to understand them and they're able to understand you, that's when the two of you can fall back into alignment with one another. But right now you guys are out of, alignment right now because you don't understand them and they don't understand you, and you don't see things from their perspective and they don't see things from your, perspective either. And it has a lot to do with the simple fact that, let's just be real, you're not in this person's shoes. You don't feel their frustration. You don't understand what they're going through because you're not in their shoes. And the same could be said about, you, right? Them not being able to see things from your perspective or understand what's going on internally within you because they're not in your shoes, But the whole point is to try to see things from one another's perspective, okay? Now, these issues that you guys have been going through, it has created a massive disconnect between the two of you. It has created distance possibly between the two of you, maybe even a lack of communication, and also intimacy between the two of you. But there's hope for the two of you to be able to fix and repair this. I just kind of feel like it starts with seeing things from one another's perspective and try, you know what I mean? Just try your hardest to understand them, and they need to try their hardest to understand you. Once you guys are able to do that, I think that that's when the two of you can be able to reach a common ground and just build from that point on. All right, so that's what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped, hopefully it resonated, and I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye.